Hey guys, let's dive into it what I believe to be, and many also I'm sure, the baddest and coolest gas tank option from the factory, the drop tank. Factory fitted and found on what other than the Aussie Holden LH and LX SLR Tiranas, both in four-door sedans and in two-door hatchbacks. Now, as far as I'm concerned, I'm pretty sure that these drop tanks were a first, used on these iconic Aussie muscle cars, actually among all muscle cars across the globe in that matter. I could be wrong on this, so correct me if you wish in the comments area below. But back on this drop tank, arguably the fattest and baddest look on the rear end of any muscle car out there from the factory. In conjunction also with its factory wide flares fitted, just screams badass, I say. These 74 to 77 model LH, LX, SLR Tiranas were raced by the late and legend Peter Brock, winning numerous Bathurst and Touring Car Championship and wins in that time period. The alloy or stainless steel drop tank look was quickly adopted thereafter on numerous muscle car makes and models, and was definitely a thing of the late 70s, 80s, and even some 90s builds. I always remember, even as a very young kid, that it just had the coolest, over-exaggerated rear-end look, boasting them two rubber-lined straps holding up that 120 plus litres of gasoline. Just badass. You would always see drop tanks on builds with a large decal sticker applied to it, whether it be Momo, Recaro or Crane Cams decal, but it was almost like an art form, a style. There was a time, I must admit, that the drop tank look and custom mod, on other models at least, was looked at to be a little tacky and outdated, not really on the SLR Tirana itself because of its genuine origin, but more so on its universal fitment on other makes and models, more so phasing out from the late 90s to just recently actually. And have noticed they're also making a comeback in the last couple of years on some street machine builds. What is once old is, or becomes new again, as they say. I don't know. I recently see them being used again, not just on Tiranas themselves, but on Brock Holden VK Commodores, Holden HQ Monaros, Chevy Camaros, square body Aussie XD and XE Falcons, and even on some older Japanese four-cylinder models also. If you ask me, I rate it. I like the way that 80s trend makes its way back into style, and even on current builds themselves. After all, we know vintage styles like gases, etc. are around and admired still. So will the legendary look and style of the 80s and the drop tank. Don't forget to subscribe if you want to see more old school cool stuff, and check out previous vids on other cool stuff also. Thanks guys.